Good morning. First of all, thank you to Chad. I gave him 3 songs that he did not know to lead today, and you recovered nicely, so I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Chad's great about that. I knew he'd be a good sport, so thank you very, very much. You got one more to go. Some of you may know, and I think Ryan sent out an email about this, that quarter 2 of this year, April, it was in April, we started a new teaching curriculum here at Ellisville. And this is for our kids. This is for preschool, and it goes up to grade 6. So the middle school and high school are on their own curriculum path, but this is for these grades. So wherever point you start at that, be it preschool or where you started in 5th grade, you started in 6th grade, whatever it is, those will be the lessons that the kids will be going over as long as they are in those ages here. So with that, we had several individuals here. We had 4 women who've been hard at work over the past year plus, putting the curriculum together, and they will continue to do that. There's actually 15 quarters of lessons, and I think it's worth noting Melissa Awad, Sandy Kyle, Jonna Scarborough, and Paula Suter are the women working on this, and they've gotten their content and inspiration, of course, from the Bible, first and foremost. But I do want to mention, and you'll see some of this later, as I show some of the content that I'm taking credit here. They took some of the content from 17 Time Periods books by Bob and Sandra Waldron. Some of you may have heard of them. Bob was here a number of times many years ago to go over some of this with us in the past. We also have teaching materials from Creation to Revelation by Harbor Arts. It's a company based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and I know that some of you have some of their materials. I've seen some of you with some of the stuff affiliated with that for your kids. Some of the text is based off class materials from the East Orange Church of Christ in East Orange, Tennessee, Eddie Jinks. Some of you will be familiar with that name. He is the husband of Hannah, formerly Works, and more notoriously the son-in-law of Joe Works, who we support, and yeah, if you laughed, you know about Joe. So, but we do support him monthly here as well. So, his work in New Jersey, New York, and that area up in the Northeast. So, as we are about to start on quarter 3, which is July 4th, that will be Sunday, July 4th. We'll start on quarter 3. The first series, as we're saying it, since it was quarter 2, not to mix things up, but the first series was this quarter that we're currently in, and that was kind of not a review, you'd say a preview of everything to come, and the women who worked on this curriculum are the ones teaching that. So this will be the first time the material will go out to those teachers who have not been involved specifically in kind of coordinating this and putting it all together. So it's an opportunity for those teachers as well as for you as parents, for you as members, to kind of see what that is that's going on and what we're doing and what we're attempting to accomplish. And as I was thinking about that and thinking about how to present this, it occurred to me that there was a TV show back. I only saw bits of it, but some of you may remember a comedian named Joe Foxworthy, and he was big, 15, 20 years ago. He had probably a number of TV shows, but he had one in particular called "Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader?" And if you saw that, I believe the idea was there was different topics, math, science, and sort of a quiz show TV format. And they would ask these 5th graders, and typically, of course, they blew out the wisdom of their parents and adults because they were smarter on the topics, which wasn't supposed to be the case. But that's how it often happened, and it kind of reminded me on what we're doing here. And do you know your Bible as well as a 6th grader? That's the age group we're going up to. So maybe the 2nd grader, maybe do you know it as well as the preschooler, but for our intents and purposes, we'll say, the upper limit of that is 6th grade. So, do you know the Bible as well as a 6th grader? And you may already be worried, wondering to yourselves, I don't know if I do. Well, I know my Bible as well as a 6th grader here at Ellisville by the time we're done with this. And for instance, along the lines of, are you smarter than a 5th grader? Do you know things like this? Do you know that there are 66 books in the Bible? Do you know that there are 1,189 chapters? I didn't know that. I had to look it up. But also, and significantly, 31,000 verses in the Bible. And not to scare you further, But by the time the kids here at Ellisville have gone through this curriculum, you may really have reason to think that you may not know your Bible as well as a sixth grader. So here's some more questions. So that's not it. Once you've learned those things, you know it all. No, of course not. We're going to learn a lot of other things too. Our kids are going to learn things like this. The books of the Old Testament. Do you know the books of the Old Testament? Could you recite them? Do you know the books of the New Testament? Maybe you know the song. We'll look at that shortly. What are the days of creation? Can you tell them in order? Well, I think there's, people, there are fish. Are we going to know that? What about the 10 plagues? Can you say all the judges of Israel? There's more. There's more things like that. How about this? What are some of the shadows of Christ from the Old Testament? What are things in the Old Testament that point to what we're going to see in the New Testament? Can you tell the Bible story from Genesis to Revelation? That may sound daunting, but there's definitely hope for you. Your kids will be learning these things, and you can learn right along with them. Well, why do you want to do that? Well, one, as I've kind of indicated, if you haven't already felt some of this already, so that they won't completely embarrass you with their superior Bible knowledge, but more importantly, that you can have a better understanding and a recollection of the Bible, how it's put together, and you will see the amazing thread of hope of salvation, redemption from the start to the finish of the Bible. So, wow, that sounds like a tall order. How can these classes do that for our kids, you ask? Well, one of the ways we've done a little bit of already, and I subjected Chad to that. So one of these, how about this? Psalm 42, 1 through 2, and as I read these, you might be re-singing in your head. I hope you are. As the deer pants for the water brooks, so my soul pants for you, O God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and appear before God? How about this one? We just did this. Psalm 19, 7 through 10. The law of the Lord is perfect, restoring the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The precepts of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. They are more desirable than gold, yes, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the drippings of the honeycomb. So I'm going to repeat here. I asked you these questions. Do you know all the books of the Old Testament? Do you know the books of the New Testament? How about the days of creation? How about the 10 plagues? Can you say all the judges of Israel? Well, hold on. We're going to do some songs. I know some of you kids. I know some of the kids know them. I don't know how many adults know these, but I think the kids know them. So sing out. I think my kids know. So sing these out with me. I let you off the hook. I let Chad off the hook. I didn't make him do like a whole bunch of new songs. So I'll stay up here for this. So we're going to do these together, okay? I'm going to try to click the same times I do it. I'm not sure if I can do both, but we'll see. All right, everybody ready? And the notes are here if you can read music, so hopefully you can read along with or sing along with me. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentations, Ezekiel and Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah and Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. Did you all know that before? You sang that through a few times and you remember it? So then, like the New Testament, when you are looking to find Colossians, for instance, you're going through the song, you'll be doing that now with the Old Testament. So I'll tell you where you can find these two, so don't worry. The kids will be way ahead of you, so you have to keep up. I don't have the notes for this one. I'm hoping there's enough of us who know this that'll carry us through for those of us who don't know it. So no music notes for this, but here they are. Up there in order, so read them by the column. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Acts and the letter to the Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians and Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus and Philemon, Hebrews, James, 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st and 2nd and 3rd John, Jude and Revelation. That's good. I think you all knew that pretty well. So that's good. Just a couple more here. Well, three more we're going to do. You all know the kids know these, right? You all know these? Head shake? Yes, maybe? Kind of. This one may not be as familiar, but we'll see what we can do. On the first day God created the light, on the second the heavens up in the sky. On the third day God made plants and trees, on the fourth the sun and moon and stars we see. On the fifth day God created the fish and the birds. On the sixth day all the animals on land, and in his own image God made man. And the seventh day he made for rest. All creation was good. Okay, creation. Now you know the order. So a little more. I don't know if I'd say obscure. That's probably not the good word. But plagues. Maybe we don't have those. Maybe we don't have those 10 plagues down quite as well. But of course, you can turn the Bible, look them up, memorize them. That's not a problem. They'll do it that way. But we also have a song for that. We have 10 plagues. So everybody with me again. The water turned to blood. Frogs, lice, flies, and the murrain of the cattle, boils and hail, locust thick, darkness, death of the firstborn. It's a quick one. Okay, one more. See if you can do this last one with me. We're going to do the Judges. Okay. Othniel, Ehud, Shamgar, Deborah, and Gideon, Abimelech, Tola, Jer, and Jephthah, Ibzan, Elon, Abdon, and Samson, and the last 2 judges were Eli and Samuel. And if you were paying attention this morning, there was a reference to Abimelech and the problems affiliated with him as a sort of a self-appointed type judge. And kids will go over that. Was he a judge? And typically we kind of shake our heads no. And then when you sing that song, so that's something to kind of keep in mind. And there's other little nuances and things we can do, and you can learn more and more as you get into it more and more. So that's just kind of an example of what we can do. And I do want to make note here. These are two resources that we're using for some of these songs. Each Little Dewdrop by Charlotte E. Couchman. There's also a CD that we have, and those are available in the classrooms. And I think sometimes the kids listen to that on the way in, maybe during the class, maybe they even sing along. They're using it in different ways to help them memorize and learn some of these songs. There's a bunch of them. Each Little Dewdrop has maybe 30 songs and musical memory builders. I can't remember exactly, but I have copies of those here as well. So that the other one is, as I mentioned, Musical Memory Builders by Jolinda Crump. And in addition to those, what's kind of nice in hers, there's also some more of those As the Deer type songs where you're learning specific scripture right from the Bible. So there's a few of those that are included in her book as well. Okay. So songs, that's one of the ways. Is that how, that's the only way we're going to teach the kids the Bible? Well, no. Then reading the Bible too, and we'll get to that. But there's also kind of the backbone of this 15-quarter curriculum, and that's the 17 time periods. Some of you may have heard of that before. Some of you may have done that in the past. We've done that in the past here as a congregation. And what that is, it's a helpful way to divide the Bible up. One of the ways we did in song, going through, knowing all the Old Testament books, knowing all the New Testament books. Another way to divide it up is, I guess you could even say topically, you can divide it up into other manageable parts, and then from there, after you've divided it up into those different periods, then you can even subdivide it from there. But just to start at the start, here's what we got. If you know them, and some of the kids may, please feel free to say them along with me, but just to kind of see. And here as well, you're going to be seeing that these are some of the flashcards that we're using, and I had mentioned Harbor Arts as the group that's producing these, Creation to Revelation curriculum. I don't know if I'd call it curriculum, but at least teaching tools for the Bible. So that's what you're seeing here. So before the flood, scattering of the people, patriarchs, exodus from Egypt, wandering in the wilderness, invasion and conquest of Canaan or the land, judges, united kingdom, divided kingdom, Judah alone, captivity, return from captivity, years of silence, life of Christ, early church, letters to the Christians. So there you have it. That's the first cycle. So there's 3 cycles to this. So what you've now seen is the first cycle. That's merely memorizing these different time periods. And you'll notice too, the biggest chunk of those are in the Old Testament, and then we also have the New Testament here at the end. So that's one of the ways we are going to be learning the Bible in these kids classes. And I do want to note at this point as well, we have other, here's just one of the samplings of these card holders, but there's others just for scale, so you can kind of see the flashcard size. We have other flashcards other than just the 17 time periods. We have different things, like for instance, there are the judges, there are flashcards for that. There's flashcards for the judges, there's flashcards for creation, there's flashcards for all the kings, a lot of those kind of things. So that'll be reinforcing as they go along in the class. So we'll see a lot of that. I pulled these up, probably no way really be able to see, just wanted to show you for scale kind of what we're looking at for all the flashcards, and they're tidily organized and tabbed and everything ready to go. So it will definitely be helpful to for the teachers and for the students to be looking at those. See, as I'm coming. Here's one of the workbooks. As you can see, this was series 1. So it was quarter 2, series 1. So that's the way we're looking at it right now. We are currently in series 1 of this curriculum. Here's just so you can see one of the pages, and this would be one of the parent handbooks. So another good thing for you as a parent is if you have a kid in one of these classes, you will be able to follow along. It's not exact to what the teacher's guide is. There's a lot more detail in that. But there's stuff in here so that you, as a parent, to whatever degree that you would like to be involved, and you can open up this workbook and see, okay, for lesson 4, here's where we are. Here's what the kids can be learning this week. To the point of there's the text. So the text for this lesson in particular, we're looking at lesson 4. So that would have been the 4th week. And I chose this, and you'll see the thread of this here. I've kind of used this consistently for the next few slides. But this was related to scattering of the people. That would have been period 3 for those of you who remember. That was the third time period. So when we are reviewing, they're quickly going through the review of this quarter. Here's some of the things that they went over. So you have the text. We have significant figures and people, God, the whole earth, Abraham. There's a memory verse for this week. So for the younger kids, they'll be doing the same one for several weeks, I believe. As they get a little older, we might challenge them a little more with a few extra memory verses, but I think that'll kind of depend on the week and the difficulty level of that verse. So there will be this quarters memory verse, and I'm going to get to that more too. This one with the bulleted list here, that's going to speak a little bit more to cycle 2, and we're going to look at that. And then if you think, you know what, Genesis 11, 12, I don't have time to read all that with my kids or what have you, there's key passages. So there's Genesis 11:9 that you can read, then you can read Genesis 12:1 through 7. So you'll get the main theme of the lesson that way. So there's different levels of involvement, if that's the best way to say it, but that's for the parents to be involved. I see all this and I'm reminded of 2 Timothy 2:15. Be diligent to present yourself approved to God as a workman who does not need to be ashamed, accurately handling the word of truth. So what's next? So I've talked, made mention of the second time period. So here's my example, right? Here's the third time period, scattering of the people. So here's the flashcard. Here's our learning. Okay, and then maybe remember that workbook. We had some bullet points. There's some things you can learn underneath that. So scattering of the people, well, we can learn some more details. The Tower of Babel was built. Languages were divided. And then we had the generations. I don't know how we can see that up there, but everything from, and I can't see it myself very well, Shem, to I would have to look up here. Yeah, Abram and Sarah. So you can see some of that, but in general, you're going to learn there's generations at the end of this cycle. So from there, we can even learn more details. But we're hoping to get to this point with the kids. Know the time period, and then know some of the details affiliated with the time period. So, cycle 2. What about cycle 3? You could know where in the Bible, to whatever extent, and that may depend. It may be as general as Genesis, which would be great if you're like, where can I find that? Maybe even as general or specific as Genesis would be a great thing. And then there can even be some particular topics where we can go farther than that. So I'm showing the Tower of Babel here, and this was an example of it. So you can take the Tower of Babel and you see the two lines, I think those are called ziggurats, kind of like a jaggedy line going up to the sky. Genesis 11, that's where that happens. So you can think of that as the two lines of the tower. Hopefully forevermore you will now know. Tower of Babel, Genesis 11. I remembered it. So that was one of the details. So there will be a few tricks like that we can do with the kids. Sometimes it might be a little, there won't be as fun ways to remember, but along the way we're gonna see what we can do to help the kids even place the story within the Bible. So that's the goal. That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do here. So, at this point, you may be thinking, okay, well, I don't have a kid in one of these classes, so I'm not getting this workbook. I'm off the hook. No, you're not. You're not off the hook. We have something. I have this. I have a copy of this book here, again, for scale, so you can see. Not big. It's not a big book here. It's called the Three-Cycle Approach. This is by Bob Waldron, and it goes through the different cycles. So you, as an adult, can do that. You may well have your own plan. I know Ryan's put out different things with going through the Bible in a year. You may have your own ways of learning. But if you're looking for a way to learn the Bible and you think, well, that's just for kids. No, it's not. This was for all ages. In fact, when we did this a few years ago, the whole entire congregation did it. So it was taught to the adults all the way down to the kids. So it can definitely be scaled up for sure to adults. So that's just something to keep in mind. I think we found it at truthbooks.com, this booklet, $3.99. So $3.99. So yeah, it's definitely not costly. I'm sure there's other places you can find it. You can find it as well. If you're interested, in locating that particular resource. Oh, also, if you want more in depth, and since I'm showing you one of these old, I think it might be a relic at this point. This might be about 25 years old. They have new pretty covers and everything, but there's commentaries by Bob and Sandra Waldron as well that you can get, and I didn't write it down, but ask me later if you're interested. I know some members here we might even have a set of them downstairs in the resource room of the commentaries of the 17 time periods. But this one's Till There Was No Remedy. So this one particularly refers to the story of the divided kingdom and the prophets. So if you were teaching this, you could also use this as a resource for teaching the kids. And sometimes they did that, and I know particularly in the older classes, this was used as well, and in the adult class. So again, another resource for you if you're interested. So all of this. We have teacher workbooks reinforced with parent workbooks at home, along with the classwork of songs, memory work, flashcards, all helping to put together the Bible story from start to finish, from creation to Revelation. Through it all, at the center of it all, is our relationship to Jehovah God through Jesus Christ. So one of the things that we've looked at in the past, and why we've gone through curriculum, having been here a number of years, we go through a curriculum, we think, well, maybe that didn't work, maybe this did work. And typically we've decided that based on how the teachers feel about the material, and there's some legitimacy to that, and I understand that. But how can we evaluate that? And again, I want to speak to the teachers a little bit more, because you think if they understand the curriculum and they're teaching it, that it's going to be more effective, of course. And who typically learns more in a class? It's always the teacher. We always say that, like, well, I taught the class, I think I learned more than the kids. Well, hopefully they did as well, and usually they do. So you definitely want it to be appealing to the teachers. But what we do want to do is be able to evaluate what the students have gotten out of this. So here's some of the things. It's not exclusive to this, but and this isn't comprehensive, but and don't think it's going to be. We're not trying to do anything. We're not going to do anything scary. It won't be like map testing or an ACT or anything. You're filling the little ovals for 3 hours. Nothing like that. But what we would like to do is have the kids know this. Know the books of the Bible, the Old and the New Testament. Know the 17 time periods. We'd like at least the cycles 1 and 2. And maybe somewhere along the lines they can fill in where they can find this in the Bible. That would be great. Understand the shadows of Christ that appear woven throughout the Old Testament. One of the comments that have been made in the past about this curriculum is you do spend a lot of time in the Old Testament. Well, the Old Testament's bigger. But the funny thing is, I don't know if it's funny, but it all points to Jesus. That's the point of the Old Testament for us. So we're going to be looking at that. The kids will be looking at that. They'll be looking at that, those shadows, those examples of Christ as they come up. Here's one. Be able to tell the story, the Bible story, as a group with fellow classmates. And I know they've been working on that a little bit already. So that's something we want to see what they can do. Maybe that'll be quarterly, maybe they'll be yearly. We'll kind of evaluate the kids on how they're doing with that. Again, it's not, we don't want it to be anything that's stress-inducing or anything like that. But I think as they go along, they'll find that they've learned as they've worked on the workbooks, come to class, participated. They'll see that they will definitely learned as they've gone along. So my encouragement to all of us is, if you do this, if you're involved in this program specifically, if you have your own things, definitely let's all get in the Word, whatever your plan. Be at this what we're doing here, creation to Revelation, this next 15 months, and hopefully beyond, that you would know your Bible as well as sixth grader, maybe even a little more. Maybe you already know the Bible story enough to know that without Jesus, you are lost in sin. The whole story of the Bible, from the beginning in Genesis 1 to the Alpha and Omega of Revelation, tells of creation, the fall of man, the temporary solution of the Old Testament, the permanent solution of God sending his only Son to earth, live among humans with a perfect, sinless life, then made to be a sacrificial lamb for our sins, die a brutal death on the cross, to be resurrected to the return to his Father on his right hand. If you have not committed your life to Christ and you would like to do so, now is certainly a good time to do that. If you would like the prayers of the church, now would be good time to come forward as we stand and sing.
Jonathan, if you would, just